City of Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission for Monday, July 13th, 2026. Our first order of business tonight will be approval of the meeting minutes from our June 22nd, 2026 meeting.
I'll move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Lexi, second by Mr. Price. All those in favor show by raising a hand.
Abstain.
We have 7 yeas, 1 abstention. Motion carried. Any special requests or continuances? Seeing none, under old business, first item is satisfaction of order for 1761 East Main Street.
Yeah, I'll be presenting on this one. This is a order of demolition that took place with the Plan Commission. All 3 structures have been demolished. Proper permits were received. However, in the Johnson County Recorder's Office on file, there's a demolition order. We would like to record this satisfaction of order so that people that are looking at the property when they do a title search, they can see that this demolition order has been fulfilled and that the property is in compliance. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Any of the commissioners have questions? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to authorize the president or vice president to sign the satisfaction of the order.
Second.
All right, motion by Mr. Lexi, second by Ms. Stambaugh. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 8-0. Next up, docket number PC 2026-035, a zone map change PUD. Petitioner is attorney Brian Toohey on behalf of CSMS Management LLC. They are requesting to rezone approximately 80.15 acres located at the southeast corner of East Worthsville Road and I-65 from agriculture to a planned unit development. Since we've got a packed room so everyone knows, there will be 15 minutes for the petitioner and those in favor. That's combined. There will be 15 combined minutes for remonstrators or all those speaking against. So that 15 minutes starts with the first of each group. After that, there'll be 5 minutes of rebuttal for each side. If you are wishing to speak to this docket number for or against, I need you to stand now to be sworn in.
Do you swear under the penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
I do. Thank you.
I need to move the slides. There we go. Thank you. Mr. President, members of the Plan Commission, good evening. My name is Brian Toohey. My address is 9294 North Meridian Street. I'm here representing the petitioner in 2026-035, and the petitioner is CSMS Management LLC, an affiliate of Bucky's LLC. Here with me tonight is Scott Ratcliffe, but that's to stand, the Director of Engineering for Bucky's, Angela Yannick, who is with the real estate department at Bucky's, Chad Mays of Kimley Horn, our engineer, and also Raj Bhatta of Kimley Horn, who's a traffic engineer. Thank you very much for hearing our case. This case is a request to rezone about 80 acres at the southeast corner of Worthsville Road and Interstate 65. The current zoning is RL. The requested zoning is to rezone it to PUD, to the Hurricane Creek PUD. And I'll explain the 2 divisions of the land in just a minute. Well, when you're looking at this site, you look at what's around it. On the west side, of course, you've got Interstate 65. On the north side, you've got Worthsville Road. And on the east side, you've got Collins Road, which is also, I think, called County Road 250 East. This next slide, when you're examining rezonings, one of the things that the Plan Commission is charged to look at is the comprehensive plan for Greenwood. And this site actually has 2 notes in the comprehensive plan. One is what the land use category is. So what does the plan contemplate will be used on this site, how it will be developed. And the second is it's a focus area called Greenwood Crossing. And so on this particular site, your comprehensive plan calls for regional destination commercial uses on the site, and it's labeled Greenwood Crossing as a focus area. So what does regional destination commercial mean? Well, under your comprehensive plan, it says it's a classification designed to accommodate a range of potential entertainment, recreation, hospitality, and retail activities. This is important, generally in close proximity to I-65. The classification has the potential to draw high levels of traffic at peak times, and as such, must include good access to major thoroughfares. It goes on to say the defining characteristic of these kind of uses is that customers will plan a special trip there and value the overall experience as opposed to shopping for a particular good. This proposed use on the first northern 40 acres is for a Buc-ee's Travel Center. And I think you would agree that people will plan a special trip there. It is a use that has entertainment components to it, recreation components to it, certainly hospitality, and it's definitely a retail activity. Under the use designation of this part of your comprehensive plan, it calls the primary uses to be retail, restaurant, recreation, entertainment, office, medical office, personal service, hotel, assisted living, and event and venue centers. Well, the first part of what we're seeking tonight is the approval of these two sections in this PUD. And the first section would be the Buc-ee's Travel Center, which I think fits in the definition of a restaurant, a retail, and recreation, and certainly can provide entertainment and a destination for people to visit. When you look at your the Greenwood Crossing part of your comprehensive plan, it calls this area, it signals it out as a destination hub. And in a destination hub, the goal is to develop a walkable mixed-use activity center serving as an anchor of new investments south of Worsville with a mix of commercial, hospitality, and office flex use. Sort of mirrors what the comprehensive plan says. And it also says that it should have the potential to diversify the city's employment base, attract visitors, and fill daily needs of nearby residents. So the plan before you is a plan unit development plan. And what you give with a plan unit development plan is some certainty of what is going to happen on the site, at least in the first step. You also get some certainty as to what's not going to happen on the site, and I'll get to that in a minute. So in this rezoning, Block 1 is proposed to be a travel center. And the second part to the south would be Block A, and those developments are not known yet, but they'll have to come back before you, before Gabe and his team, and back before the Plan Commission as proposed development comes in. But we know that under the PUD, there are certain prohibited uses, like no adult-oriented businesses. There won't be any liquor stores. There's no truck stops. There's no tattoo parlors. If there's not a standard in this PUD, then the way the site will be developed will be under your CL zoning standard, which is commercial large. It's a standard that is, of course, very familiar to this Plan Commission and to the Planning Department. What will this look like? This is a rendering of an exterior of a Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's would be built on Lot 1. That's that about 40-acre site. And it will have a travel center on it of about 74,000 square feet. They expect to employ somewhere between 175 and 225 people at this travel center. And they expect their annual payroll to be almost $9 million annually. In 2025, there's about 38 travel center Buc-ee's in the United States. And the typical capital investment for a travel center of this magnitude is about $50 million, with gross sales in the range of $25 million. So a very significant capital investment. This exhibit 8, depicts the exteriors of the building. The top one will be the elevation facing south. The second one down will be the west elevation. That would be what you'd see off of Interstate 65. The east elevation is what you'd see off of Collins Road. The north elevation would be the front door off of Worsville Road. This site will be heavily landscaped. As an example, this landscape plan that's been submitted with PUD as part of the PUD shows about 310 trees and 381 shrubs. It also shows a 10-foot wide concrete trail along Worsville Road, 10-foot wide trail along Collins Road, a 10-foot wide trail all the way around that pond. So this is going to extend the walkability and bikeability travel methods from Greenwood east of 65. There's quite a bit of trail on this plan, members of the Plan Commission. There's about 1.25 miles of trails, plus about almost a half mile of sidewalk. And as you can see, there's extensive landscaping on the north, west, and east and south sides of this proposed Buc-ee's. In any development, there's an issue of traffic. And Buc-ee's has worked with its traffic engineer, not only with the city of Greenwood, but has met extensively with the Indiana Department of Transportation. And there's a 45-page traffic study plus dozens of exhibits attached to that traffic study. And the conclusion of the traffic study is that the study intersections are projected to adequately accommodate the proposed development with the implementation of the following improvements. And so the study not only looked at what is out there now, but will be there in the future, including this use. And the study concluded that certain roadway improvements, like extending the right turn lane on Interstate 65, installing a roundabout at Collins Road and Worsville Road, having accel lanes in and out of the site, installing a traffic signal at the east-west road and Collins Road. That's the east-west road going into the travel center development. There would be 3 entrances, 1 on Worsville and 2 on Collins Road. The estimated cost of the improvements to the roadways around this area is in the range of $13 to $14 million. So yes, there will be traffic, but yes, there will also be significant capital investment in traffic improvement measures. We have received a number, actually, I believe the mayor's office and the planning office has received a number of emails supporting this petition. And this morning, July 13th, there's a letter from David Duncan, the Assistant General Counsel, who is the Assistant General Counsel for the Greenwood Park at 65 South and the Worsville Commerce Center. You might recall that's the industrial commercial development that is on the north side of Worsville Road. And Mr. Duncan writes that he received notice of the rezoning petition and he believes the proposed Buc-ee's will be a significant benefit to the businesses and the employees that work in the commercial industrial park. He concludes that the rezoning and proposed use are compatible with this interstate location and the nearby commercial industrial uses. We look forward to the opening of the store and the continued growth of this area along 65. There are also some other emails which I'll get to later on in the rebuttal. So the summary page of our presentation, members of the Plan Commission, is when you're thinking about this case, look at what the evidence is in front of you. And it looks like the proposed rezoning meets the comprehensive plan goal of regional destination commercial. If you consider what those elements are, what the definition of that. It also seems to meet the design principles of the Greenwood Crossing, which is part of the comprehensive plan. The initial development of the Buc-ee's alone will provide employment for about 175 to 295 employees. And this will result in a very substantial increase in the tax base of Greenwood, about a $50 million capital investment. This proposed development not only brings that capital investment, but it brings significant roadway improvements on and off the site. The traffic study that was reviewed both by the Greenwood Planning Department and Engineering Department and INDOT concluded that those intersections with those improvements will adequately accommodate this proposed development. The proposed development also extends pedestrian and bike connectivity east of Interstate 65. Last week, the Technical Review Committee of Greenwood had a meeting. They provided a unanimous favorable recommendation for this proposed rezoning, and the planning staff has provided a favorable recommendation to the petition. We greatly appreciate your time here in our case this evening. We'll try to answer any questions you might have, but we appreciate a favorable recommendation to the petition. Thank you.
At this time, we did have a number of both favorable and unfavorable letters submitted to the Plan Commission. And we would like to admit those into the record. If you're coming up to speak and you have things to be admitted into the record, you would bring them up at that time and we can facilitate handing those out to the different members and our attorneys.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this? There's 3 minutes.
Please approach the mic if you are wishing to speak in favor.
Good evening, Carmen Matson, 121 South Floridian Street, Greenwood, 46143. I have personally been to 4 Buc-ee's in 3 different states. I currently went to the new one in Ohio. I've never had a problem getting in or out of Buc-ee's. They do an excellent job of their traffic rotation in and off the freeways. I love the food, love the merchandise. I'm wearing my current shirt. They pay well, the bathrooms are excellent, the gas is cheap. I think it's a win-win for Greenwood on all fronts. I hope that you, as the Plan Commission, will vote in favor of Buc-ee's tonight. And remember, as the back of my shirt says, life is better at Buc-ee's.
I'm here in Pleasant Township in Greenwood now. I used to live in Clark Pleasant School District. I believe Buc-ee's it is a positive thing for Greenwood. I also believe that we have a very unique situation. Do we want Buc-ee's or would we rather have a data center taking up our water and electricity? I talked to neighbors in my community in Briarwood, and they would rather not have a data center, so I'm speaking up for Buc-ee's.
Can we have your name and address for the record,
Okay.
please?
Sleepy Hollow Court, 973, Greenwood, Indiana,
And your name?
Patricia Foster.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to come speak to you. My name is William Welch. I live at 1355 Colony Park Circle, which is in Crooked Bend, which is right within about 2 minutes or less from where this Buc-ee's will be. Am I concerned about traffic? No, I've been to a lot of Buc-ee's, actually more than you have. And the traffic flow, even in busy times, has been well controlled and smooth as anything. I have no fears about traffic. I also have no fears about anything else with Buc-ee's. I mean, what everybody has talked about, and I know it's total hearsay, yes, I'm the attorney, but I know it's total hearsay that everybody I've talked to has been very excited when they heard that Buc-ee's was coming. We all think it's a good thing, it pays well, and it will make Greenwood a destination. How many times can you look at what we have here, and I love Greenwood, but there's not a lot of reason for people to come here from a long distance away. And this will provide something, some place that people could come and enjoy Greenwood and enjoy being at Buc-ee's. So I think it'll give a good reason for the people to come here. I think it will not adversely affect traffic, and I think it will provide very good jobs. And I won't repeat the numbers that were given, but they sound pretty good to me. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joe Ake, and I'm starting my 3rd year in a business on Polk Street in the Polk Building. And I just came to show my support for Greenwood in this matter and its growth. And I believe it's great. I've been to several Buc-ee's across the country, and there's not a one of them that doesn't seem to handle the traffic with expertise, and what they do to the property will be a great improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the time, all the time for those in favor. We'll now begin 15 minutes total for all those speaking against. So my advice would be not to repeat.
Jackson.
Could you assist in passing out papers that they bring up for us so that they can continue to speak? Thank you.
And if you have anything you want to hand to the commission to kind of speed it along, we're gonna have Jackson from planning staff.
How many? And, yeah, well, how many is voting?
Eight.
Eight, and then one for the attorney.
You can, I was gonna say you can do 7, because I'll give her mine.
Yeah, I'll share. Well, I printed it all out.
Okay, we just like to make it easy for you.
You're on the clock.
Oh,
Okay,
don't tell me that.
we're starting at 15 minutes now.
Hi, my name is Deanne Rottenbach, and I live at 2255 South Breaker Road. I am smack dab in the middle of the unfinished corridor that I'm realizing many of you did not know existed. Good evening, members of the Plan Commission. My name is Deanne Rottenbach. I live at the corner, just told you, of the unfinished corridor connecting I-65 Worsville Road and the I-74 Fairlane exit that most of you are unaware of. As an affected neighbor, I am here to establish a formal legal record against docket PC 2026035. I request that this commission deny this petition because it breaks your local ordinances, ignores public safety data, and constitutes a legally arbitrary and capricious action. Exhibit A. Those are all from my window, and that is if you go east on Worsville, this is the traffic that I'm dealing with. Exhibit B, an official traffic camera report from the Johnson County Highway Department recorded 7,704 cars per day directly outside my home on May 7th, 2026. Exhibit C, proving the developer is breaking local laws, UDO section 100107 on page 6. Strictly states a PUD cannot be used to circumvent city standards and that design rules cannot be reduced. Yet on page 29, Bucky's writes that our streetscaping laws shall not apply. And on page 30, they state our signage laws shall not apply. So they can build a 100-foot billboard. Furthermore, your master use table on page 17 completely bans travel plazas and commercial zones. To dodge this safety protection, page 24 of their text forces a permanent heavy industrial footprint directly next to our residential neighborhoods. Fourth, exhibit D, page 22 of the developer's own study admits this intersection is already projected to plummet to a level of service F, complete structural failure by 2037. Indiana law explicitly commands under Code 36-74603 that this commission shall pay reasonable regard to public safety and local conditions. Voting yes while ignoring your own documented level of service F, traffic hazard, means you are completely failing that mandatory state level duty that is a direct abuse of discretion that will not hold up in a court. Fifth, I submit exhibit E, mapping out the direct violations of Indiana State Codes 3674603, 3674-1504, and 327 IAC 211. The developer will try to use Indiana case law regarding PUD flexibility to argue that because the road fails in 2037 anyway, their traffic doesn't matter. But the case law does not apply here. You cannot use case law as a shield to dumping an extra 20,000 cars, which you have right there in exhibit E. 20,160 cars daily from page 10 onto the road that you know is already failing is a complete negligence. You can see by my pictures that to the east of there, we're already in, the infrastructure is already failing with the traffic as it is. And let the record know, I have active, open regulatory cases with both the Indiana Department of Transportation and the Indiana Department of Environmental Management investigating the structural and environmental limits of this corridor. Elected officials cannot use their seats to grant customized exemptions that override local laws. Knowing a road is failing and voting yes to deliberately overwhelm it while active state agency investigations are open is a textbook arbitrary and capricious abuse of administrative discretion. I have entered these discrepancies on permanent record for future judicial review. Please uphold the law and deny this petition. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kim Crawford. I'm a resident in the city of Greenwood. I live at 166 Kaplan Place, and I respectfully ask you to deny the Bucky's rezoning petition at Worsville Road and I-65. This proposal fails multiple statutory criteria and is not consistent with Greenwood's comprehensive plan. First, the comprehensive plan requires the commission to take into consideration all criteria, not just one. Bucky's violates nearly every major directive in the plan except for the controlling of use. It increases congestion rather than reducing it. It worsens school area safety rather than improving it. It expands large format commercial use south of Worsville Road, where residents specifically opposed industrial expansion. It harms adjacent rural neighborhoods the plan says must be protected. It adds 24/7 demand to police and fire services without providing any mitigation. And it is the opposite of the small scale retail residents that they wanted. The statutory criteria also require the planning commission and the legislative body to pay reasonable regard to current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in each district. The Clark Pleasant Community School Corporation was not consulted concerning current and future conditions. The district owns multiple parcels, including 2 elementary schools, and operates the state of Indiana's 3rd largest middle school, which also utilized the Worsville Road I-65 corridor. The district submitted written objections on June 22nd, yet the staff's July 13th preliminary report, as published on the governing body's website, issued a favorable recommendation without addressing any of the district's concerns. This is a procedural defect under the Article 2.10. No decision or finding of the commission shall be made unless it is based upon facts submitted at the hearing. The commission failed to address important facts that have been made a part of this permanent record. Second, the traffic study is fundamentally flawed. It assumes that 90% of Bucky's trips will be diverted from I-65. But NDOT's own traffic counts show that 5 major interstate corridors feed into this interchange: I-69, I-70, I-74, and 465, carrying between 35,000 and 150,000 vehicles a day. The study only counted diversion from one corridor. The study excluded all diverted trips from other major interstates. The study is not credible. The traffic impact study's assumption that 90% of all Bucky's trips will be diverted link trips, meaning vehicles already traveling on I-65 will briefly exit, visit Bucky's, and then immediately return to the interstate without using local roads is erroneous, as it contradicts both regional traffic patterns and the comprehensive plan's documented transportation patterns. Why is the 90% diversion assumption wrong? Bucky's is a regional destination, not a pass-by gas station. The comprehensive plan's own definition of regional destination commercial on page 56 states that customers plan a special trip and spend longer periods of time there. Bucky's is designed to attract visitors from multiple counties, not just the interstate. This means that a substantial portion of trips will originate from residents in Greenwood, Whiteland, New Whiteland, Shelbyville, Barbersville, Franklin, the Indianapolis metro area, and other local cities and towns. None of these trips were counted as diverted linked trips. They are new primary trips that should be added to the Worsville Road, Collins Road, and 250 East estimates, which they were not. Furthermore, Bucky's imperial data is based on southern states, not Indiana's interstate network. The traffic impact study used trip generation data from Bucky's locations in Texas, Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. These states do not share Indiana's unique interstate convergence. Using this data underestimates the diversion potential and again violates the requirement that the findings be based on facts. Worsville Road already carries 25,000 to 33,000 vehicles a day per day, with daily backups into Clark Middle School. Adding the woefully underestimated 20,160 daily Bucky's trips, 7,358,400 400 annual trips will overwhelm this corridor and any other major adjacent east-west thoroughfares such as Main Street. The Planning Commission is well aware of the traffic congestion at Main Street due to the multiple lights and the I-65 interchange, and have acknowledged that this is a critical barrier to overcome in this area in the comprehensive plan, if this has not been addressed. Lastly, the study also failed to include traffic from future residential developments east and south of I-65. The only one mentioned in the traffic study was Grand Vista. There is Lincoln Place, Grand Vista, Sage Run, Scottsdale Estates, Lone Pine Farms, Saddlebrook Farms, Pleasant Creek, Redwood Whiteland, Allure Apartments, Arlington Farm Apartments, and more. These neighborhoods rely on Worsville Road for school drop-off, commuting, and interstate access. None of that growth was included. It even failed to reflect future industrial developments like the expansion of the project at Endress Hauser or the Crew Car Wash. Third, Greenwood already owns 65 acres at I-65 and County Line Road that are fully zoned for commercial use, with existing hotels, restaurants, gas stations, a fire station, and 2 4-lane roads. That site meets the comprehensive plan's redevelopment strategy first. Buc-ee's does not. When a fully compliant site exists and is not even being discussed, it raises questions about whether this process is being guided by the comprehensive plan or by other influences. The omission raises serious concerns about the integrity and completeness of the commission's record or review process. The public deserves clarity on why the County Line Road site was excluded. Fourth, Buc-ee's poses significant safety, public health, and environmental risks. A 24/7 travel center with 120 fueling stations and constant idling releases benzene, formaldehyde, and nitrogen oxide into the air and into the soil. Pollutants that are especially harmful to young children at nearby schools. Noise levels from 20,000 daily trips will further disrupt neighborhoods and schools. This petition adds a large commercial zone, which is often associated with higher crime rates, without addressing the comprehensive plan's directive on public safety. This is at a time when the Greenwood Police Department and Fire Department resources, both workforce and facilities, are already challenged with further growth as Greenwood continues to expand east of I-65, as noted in the comprehensive plan. Finally, mitigation measures like landscaping and cutoff lighting will not eliminate the 24/7 noise, the emissions, the traffic, or enhance the public safety or protect residential home values in the immediate area. For these reasons, the comprehensive plan's inconsistency, the traffic and safety failures, the procedural defects, the public health and safety risks, and the availability of superior alternative sites, I respectfully ask the commission to deny the petition. Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, there is 3 minutes and 30 seconds left for
Can we get an extra 5
No.
minutes?
We have the time up here. They did not go over. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remain.
I will be quick, I promise. My name is Dr. Tim Edsel, the superintendent here at Clark Pleasant Community Schools. Thank you for your service to our community. I want you to please understand that my request is to put a pause for tonight because of a flaw in the traffic study that I just received less than 3 weeks ago. I'll get back to that here in a few seconds. Understand, as a school superintendent, it is my premier responsibility to advocate for our students, our staff, and our family members when it comes to learning, safety, and operations. My major concern here is the fact that we have 3 large schools on one campus. We have the 3rd largest middle school with 1,800 plus students, over 350 employees. Right behind that, on the same campus again, is 2 elementary schools. There are 2 largest, over 700 students. Combine those employees, that's over 350 employees. And then you have to consider our families that drop their kids off and pick them up. These are elementary and middle school, they don't drop. So our families will come and pick them up. Our bus drivers obviously are there also transporting our students. My major concern is the fact that at no point until 3 weeks ago was I at the table to share our perspective with anyone from the city of Greenwood, from any committee, subcommittee, whatnot. It took me asking and calling Mr. Toohey to ask a lot of questions, where then I received the 600-page comprehensive impact study. And I've had a few conversations with the Buc-ee representatives. It's been cordial and professional. I appreciate that. It's been transparent. I appreciate that. Just recently, as they were sharing with us some of the tables, they looked at their peak studies when they came out in November, and in the afternoon, they said the peak study was from 4 to 6. I said, with all due respect, that's incorrect. Because in the morning, just watch, it's bad, and I'm not embellishing. We have from 7:30 to 9:15, it's mass congestion. Not even on Worsville, or not just on Worsville, but on our campus. It's the evening, it's not 4 to 6, it's from 2:30 to 4:15, if not 4:30. That's my major concern. We have statutory required hours we have to follow to educate. We can't deviate, we don't have flexibility, it's from the state. So again, I would ask that you put a pause until, because Buc-ee's told me this past Friday, they would come out in a few weeks, early to mid-August, when we just have started school, and they will stay for an entire week to study 15-minute increments of the traffic flow at our peak hours, not their peak hours. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. 1 minute remains.
All right, I will cut back for everyone. The comprehensive plan citing $200,000.
So we need your name and address.
I'm sorry, Nick Hunter, 3114 East 700 North, Whiteland, Indiana, 46184. The comprehensive plan cited $200,000 from the city budget. It included hiring the third-party companies of HWC Engineering and Santec in the steering committee from HWC Engineering. The first bullet point from a meeting that specifically addressed the use of this land says, and I quote, areas surrounding the I-65 and Worsville Road interchange should remain largely residential with limited commercial uses that serve the surrounding neighborhoods and not those traveling on the highways. I'm going to cut everything out and go to the very bottom here. What I just submitted is actually a visual of the 38 Buc-ee's mentioned across the United States, showing the dead zones that they create.
Yes.
It eliminates in the 2,500 foot radius, eliminating from Buc-ee's the dead zones where there is no residential development, which are planned. Are other large-scale businesses and industrial businesses. Every Buc-ee's dead zone is a far cry from what Greenwood Crossing is supposed to be, from what we spent $200,000 to plan, and from what this commission and the Common Council promised was in our future.
Yeah.
With that, the 15 minutes for remonstrators has expired. The petitioner now gets 5 minutes to rebut.
Hello, Scott Ratcliffe with Buc-ee's, 324 FM 2004, Lake Jackson, Texas. Appreciate the opportunity to visit with y'all. And yes, we have been working with the board members of the school district, and we've been working with Tim, as he mentioned. We are happy to do whatever the numbers say as it relates to the improvements required to mitigate our design impacts. We've been working in all earnest with city staff, with the Department of Transportation, following all the rules, all the regulations in order to prepare the studies in accordance with their laws. We have prepared and have documented everything starting back in January with numerous meetings until the most recent, which we got no further comments from both departments. And so we're happy to address anything, but we have been playing by the rules and doing everything that's been asked of us. And we will continue to do so because we believe we are part of the communities in which we come into, and we are here to help all ships rise. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Members of the Planning Commission, just a couple of points. A number of conversations about the traffic study. This is a copy of the traffic study. I think I heard one of the remonstrators say it was a comprehensive 600-page traffic study. I think I would agree with that comment. This traffic study also was submitted to NDOT and to Greenwood Planning, and both of them returned emails that asked for no further comments and no further information. So the traffic
was heavily studied in connection with this proposed development. In terms of the comprehensive plan, the last gentleman spoke about having spent some significant sums on the comprehensive plan. The slides I showed the commission called this a regional destination commercial node. And I re-quote this again, it's generally in close proximity to I-65. Could I, Monty, can I get one more look at the slide? Thank you. One of the folks mentioned that the comprehensive plan called for residential development close to interstates. That actually doesn't make a lot of sense to me, members of the commission, because I don't think in general you want to have a lot of homes, not a lot of homeowners want to be right next to an interstate. And one of the comments from one of the demonstrators was this was near a residential neighborhood. Well, this slide shows what's around that site. There's 80 acres up there in the corner that's in the green site, and all around it, I think, is owned basically by one entity, Kelsey Family Farms. There are next to no homes right around this site. It seems like that's a very good site for a commercial development. As an example, the nearest
Order.
Have you ever actually been there?
Order in the chambers.
As an example, the nearest homes that aren't within the Kelsey family entity are about 2,600 feet going east over towards Bushville Road, or 2,200 square feet, 2,200 lineal feet. One of the remonstrators that had written a letter lives down on 700. That person's about 3,800 feet. So that's what, 3/4 of a mile away. Again, looking at this exhibit, there's hardly any homes right around this site. It seems to me your comprehensive plan analyzed that and came up with, hey, this is a regional destination commercial, and Buc-ee's fits that definition by their uses. It also fits the definition of experts from the Greenwood Comprehensive Plan that call for this to be Greenwood Crossing. There was a couple of comments about this being an industrial enterprise. It's not an industrial enterprise, it's a commercial enterprise. And the Buc-ee's folks have worked very closely with Greenwood Planning and with NDOT to come up with significant roadway improvements. We respectfully ask for your favorable consideration of this petition. Thank you for your time.
We'll now move to 5 minutes for remonstrators. If you have not spoken yet, we will need your name and address for the record.
My name is David E. Byer. I live at 3130 East 700 North, Whiteland. Let me preface my comments by saying that I voted for Mark Myers. I went to school with Mark. I believe that he has been an excellent mayor. Greenwood residents have much to be proud of under his leadership. His accomplishments are obviously the Greenwood Fieldhouse, the renovation of the existing community center, the new $10 million sports parks for kids in the playground area at I-65, the Freedom Springs Aquatic Center, the continued investment and improvements throughout downtown Greenwood. Mayor Myers has helped transform Greenwood into one of the most desirable communities in the central area. However, many residents who live in the immediate area of the proposed Buc-ee's location believe this project is being forced into a corridor that simply does not handle, it's not designed to handle and development of this magnitude. My first concern, and a lot of this I'm going over, but it needs to be reiterated, is absolutely traffic and safety. According to the public available information, a typical Buc-ee's location attracts approximately 11,000 visitors a day, and those are conservative numbers. Let that think in a second. 11,000 visitors a day at the location. That's not a week, that's a day. While traffic studies can estimate vehicle counts, no one truly knows what the real world impact will be once thousands of additional vehicles begin entering and exiting off of I-65 and Worstville Road interchange every day. My second concern is public safety, and especially for our children, and Superintendent Mr. Edsel already addressed this. Within that same corridor, you have not just one, but 2 elementary schools, a large middle school. Every morning and afternoon, hundreds of parent school buses and student pedestrians already utilize these roads. Has the city fully considered what happens when school traffic is combined with, let's add this, the thousands of daily customers at Buc-ee's, all of the existing FedEx traffic, all of the existing Amazon traffic that's in that area? Obviously, by the comprehensive plan, when the petitioner was talking about additional homes. Well, let's look at what that comprehensive plan says. For all that Kelsey land, a lot of it is zoned for residential use. So you're gonna have all that additional traffic. So the continued residential growth in that area. Has the city of Greenwood contacted Clark Pleasant Community School Corporation? Sounds like they haven't yet. We'll get to that. So also to the 3/4 of a mile to the east of the proposed Buc-ee's, I believe Clark Pleasant School Corporation also owns right around 56 acres of additional land for additional schools as they're needed for the continued growth in that area. Here's something that nobody has brought up. There's also a brand new fire station that's being constructed just north on Worsville Road. One of the primary reasons for building a new station is to improve emergency response times. Has anyone evaluated how emergency vehicles will safely and efficiently navigate through this area once receiving 11,000 additional visitors per day? When seconds matter during a house fire, medical emergencies, or serious traffic accidents, response times can mean the difference between life and death. Increased congestion at key intersections and access points could directly impact emergency services' ability to reach residents when they need the help the most. I am not opposed to economic development. I am not opposed to growth. I am certainly not opposed to Mayor Myers, whose leadership has benefited Greenwood for many years. What I am asking is whether this particular location is truly the right location for a project of this size and this intensity. Before approving a development that may permanently alter this corridor, residents deserve clear answers regarding traffic, school safety, emergency response times, infrastructure capacity, and a long-term impact on the families who already live there. No one has talked about property values. Property values near Buc-ee's travel centers often see mixed effects, including residential price stagnation and a price drop of 5 to 10%. Residential impacts, traffic and noise, heavy highway exit congestion reduces home appeal. Light and operations 24/7, bright lighting and high visitor volume causes disturbances. Value stagnation, nearby homes may lag behind wider market growth by 5 to 10%. Who said this? This was the Born Star, which is a newspaper out of Texas, where there's a lot of Buc-ee's. Studies of, I'm almost finished, one last page here. Studies in similar developments in Texas have shown large convenience stores and fuel centers can have a negative impact on nearby residential property values. Such factors as increased traffic, round-the-clock lighting, elevated noise levels, and the perception of higher crime risk can outweigh any of the benefits of the added convenience. Property sales have been documented to stagnate or decline 5 to 10% relative to comparable homes in other areas. And based on that information, I would hope that with traffic, safety, emergency response times, local economic impact, and future zoning risks, I respectfully ask for you to vote no for this rezoning. Yeah.
You got 2 minutes. Before you start, I just want you to get 2 minutes.
My name is Gail Neal. I live at 6941 North, 200 East. I live directly across the interstate from where this thing is going in. I don't want those lights in my backyard, in my eyes, 24/7. We have eagles in our yards. I had another lady here that they go back and forth from our yards. I did check with the DNR. That's gonna make the eagles lose track of where they're at. This was their things, not mine. And the traffic, I tried to get out of my driveway this afternoon. It wasn't even rush hour traffic. There was 13 vehicles I had to wait on just to get out of my driveway. Coming off the interstate to get to my street, there was 7 vehicles in front of us and about 5 behind us. And that's bad the way it is now. What's gonna be like with Buc-ee's?
Super quick. Garrett Caton, 3249 East Worsville Road. I'm 8/10 of a mile down on Worsville. All these well-spoken people said pretty much everything I was going to, but definitely the property value and a statement more than a question or anything else. I feel that the absolute lack of transparency by Greenwood is really, really sickening. We've been calling and asking about this, and just in this meeting alone, I hear that you guys have been communicating with Buc-ee's since January. I think, myself came down here, used my connections on who I work for and stuff like that to find out information. I feel like it's pretty sickening. And to me, if it's such a good thing, why isn't it on the up and up of people that it affects?
everything that I provided you guys is actually your own ordinances. I'm going above your comprehensive plan. This is Greenwood ordinances that you're violating and Indiana laws that you're violating. You will put Clark Township in an absolute gridlock out there. On, I think, the 6th page, they have 20,000 cars coming by every day, and you're not even accounting for the traffic that's coming from 74 corridor that I live right by. You guys see all the traffic that is from my house window, and you're not even considering the people that's gonna come from I-74, because this is an unfinished corridor that you guys are all unaware of. And as far as the transparency on record, were you guys not allowed to tell us? Because I have emails from certain people saying, we don't know anything about a Buc-ee's, but you guys are not allowed to tell us, correct? So transparency wise, answering what he just said, you're not allowed to talk to us about this, correct? So when we ask questions, and I have an email that says, we've never heard of anything of a Buc-ee's from January. You guys are allowed by law to tell us that you don't know anything, right?
I was just gonna mention that on the plan that he cited, on the land use development findings for regional commercial, one of the bullet points reading on the screen was that this large expanse of surface parking area should be avoided. That's right there on the plan on the same slide that he did. We've got 765 parking spots coming with the Buc-ee's. That seems to be a little bit much. Comprehensive plan also, you said that there's no houses there. That's the point. There's supposed to be houses. It's not there yet. It's supposed to be houses. That's what we've been promised by Charlotte. Thank you.
With that, time has expired.
Well,
And we
I will
need
say
to-
this anyway,
we need
years
to
ago, I was at a meeting exactly like this.
Ma'am, I need you to step.
Charlie Henderson told us that what happens in Greenwood does not affect us. I beg to
The-
differ with him.
The last person to speak will use your name. The last person to speak, will use your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Griffith Road, Kathy McKee.
We have no representation on it if we live in the buffer zone.
We met.
My name is Christina Hunter. I live at 3114 East 700 North. I'm one of the houses directly across from Helsinki.
Thank you.
With that, we'll now hear staff's comments on the project.
Gabe Nelson with the planning department. Staff is favorable of this zone map change for a planned unit development. This was identified in our future comprehensive plan, or in our comprehensive plan and our future land use map as regional destination commercial. In the focus area, we specified that the corner that the Buc-ee's is looking at, it is destination commercial, hospitality, and office. During the comprehensive plan, we heard a lot of opposition to some of the industrial buildings that had been proposed here in the past, and those were not approved by our common council. So we turned this area into a focus area, and we had many meetings with stakeholders and the community. We held extensive public engagement, and in conclusion, we have developed a regional destination commercial hub in this focus area. This is kitty corner, catty corner, to the Greenwood Sports Park. And that is part of the theme that we are going off of. We want to see different types of destinations. Buc-ee's, I would think, is a destination commercial. The comprehensive plan is a vision and a guide. Not everything is going to be 100% as the comprehensive plan is written. However, when petitions come to us, they look at the comprehensive plan. That is what staff uses to evaluate the request, and we talk with them about if the request meets the comprehensive plan or not. We felt that the Buc-ee's proposal met the definition of destination commercial or regional destination commercial. The focus area plan shows intersection improvements, specifically calls them out at Collins Road and Worstville. when we were engaged in the traffic study, they had multiple different scenarios. City staff and NDOT both preferred the roundabout scenario. We feel like that has the most benefit to this area and for the future development that will come. The Buc-ee's is primarily a travel center. However, that doesn't neatly fit into any of our zoning categories. A traditional travel center does not have the level of retail that a Buc-ee's does, or the hospitality and entertainment aspects. They've in a way reimagined a travel center. It is quite different than a typical travel center that you might think about when you are on your travels right now. For that reason, we talked with them about an appropriate underlying zoning. We felt that commercial large CL was an appropriate underlying zoning for the area. They are providing trails, which were requested in the comprehensive plan and a focus area. They went above and beyond with the trails. They're actually including a bike trail or a multi-use trail around the pond that is out there. I think this will be a great addition to the area. It'll set the stage for future development at a high quality in a zone that we call destination commercial. The mixed density residential and single family on the focus area plan, they don't start out until you get east of Collins Road. This entire development is west of Collins Road, abutting the interstate, which is typically where you will see users that have a lot of interstate travelers using the site, such as the Buc-ee's. That is kind of my general comments right now. Staff is favorable. We do have some conditions with our favorable recommendation that we would like for you to consider. Some of these conditions are crafted due to feedback we have received from the public. The staff report was 60 pages, so I'm just scrolling. So on page 3, we do have ask for the community landscaping within the development to be held to a higher standard than our current unified development ordinance when facing the major corridors in the Greenwood Crossing focus area. Their first revision have maybe lacked some of the landscaping that staff would like to see. They have since then revised that, and they have added in additional landscaping, which Brian Toohey had talked about. We still have that condition in there, as we would like to continue to work with them during the, this is the concept plan, during the master plan phase, to make sure that that landscaping is being taken care of. A lot of that did come from feedback from the public as well. We're requiring a traffic impact study, which they have already completed. We are requiring that the Block A road network build out be in substantial conformance to the pattern shown in the focus area. And they have since then added one of those future roadways to their plans. It's running along the south side of their property. And then we have asked for the lighting to be 9-degree cutoff or full cutoff lighting to reduce light pollution on neighboring properties. Essentially, the lighting would be directed down, would not be directed out. And we do have lighting standards and a lighting ordinance that staff would ensure that they are following. That's all I have at this time, unless you have any questions.
And with that, I'll turn it to the commissioners for questions, if anyone would like to begin. Mr. Walker.
So this would be for Scott Radcliffe. Yes, sir. Hey, thanks. Hey, on the traffic study, the superintendent stood up and mentioned that maybe you guys would relook at that based on timing.
Yes.
Did NDOT or anybody speak to that piece from your perspective, and where are we at with that?
We have fulfilled what NDOT has required. We are going above and beyond. We met with Tim and several of the board members last week. And we are doing an additional count, as he mentioned. We're measuring for an entire week after school starts, measuring 15-minute intervals. And we're committed to mitigate any impacts that we cause. That is what, we're not here to muck stuff up.
Right,
It doesn't work
I'm
in our
not
model.
suggesting any of that, I just want, everybody to know, we're asking questions to get to the bottom of
Sure.
it for both sides and make a good decision. Okay, so, what I was wondering is, have you combined a traffic study from when the schools were built? Because we had to think about that then, I would think. Have you been able to look at their study?
Yes, we took all the original studies, we've taken all of the proposed developments that we were made aware of, we've included those in our studies, and then we've applied the growth rate that we were asked to apply to the study.
In the one that was recently completed or the one that you're going to engage Whiteland?
The one that's been completed and accepted,
Okay, by.
yes,
the
the
state
5
and the-
jurisdictions that we've committed.
So this would be, to your point, where you're going, I think.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions.
Yeah, so I think where you're going was, is that inclusive of, over and above what the traffic study was done for the schools?
Yes, we are going to, we haven't done it yet because school hasn't gotten in session.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna run those numbers. That's gonna give us reams of data. We're gonna take that data and apply it to the models and see how it affects the models.
So when would that be done?
We are doing that starting August 23rd. Yes, August 23rd for a week, every 15 minutes, with the equipment out there measuring traffic.
I think that's a great idea that you guys are doing that, and obviously working with the school system. I know, okay, so a couple questions. Are there any Buc-ee's out of the 38, 48, however many that were listed, that there was, a Remonstrator had a whole bunch of them, within 1 mile or less of middle schools, 2 elementary schools? Are there any Buc-ee's that have that kind of history that are 1 mile or less away from, like the 3rd largest middle school in the state kind of thing? Do you have any history with that?
We have history with schools, yes. We don't have histories with your school though, because your school is unique. So we work with schools, we work with communities,
Yeah, I'm not asking,
neighbors.
sorry, Mr. Rockcliffe, I just wanna know if we've ever had a Buc-ee's, I'm asking a question. If we've ever had a Buc-ee's within a mile of a major school system.
Yes,
Oh, cool. That's good to know, because then you have history that we can work off of, right?
Yes.
That we can see.
What about 2/10 of a mile?
I'm gonna just keep asking questions. I think something that's really important for everybody to know is we're commissioners, we're just here to help make the right decision. We're listening to the data, we're trying to make the right decision, and then it'll go on at that point, right? So, did the study look at the corridors of how people will get to the destination? Like, you guys mentioned all the other housing developments in the area, but I think I heard the remonstrators mention way more housing additions and not just separate, like detached houses, but actually multifamily housing. There's a little bit more in the area than what was mentioned from Mr. Tui, so.
we took the data that we were provided by the community and utilized that in the study because we have the jurisdiction. We don't live here right now.
Right, yeah.
So we have to go with what the Department of Transportation says and what the city says.
Okay.
And that's the parameters in which we operated under.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Correct.
Seeking that.
Yeah, I don't know what communities haven't been approved, what communities are in the work. I just have to go with what we're instructed to go with.
Mr. Walker, did you?
No, I appreciate you answering my question on the
Anytime.
traffic study. So,
I think the project sits at the southern edge of the city, which can be good, bad, or indifferent, but traffic, emergency, response delays, I mean, we're naming all kinds of things, but the school transportation, that doesn't stop at the Boundary, and I think that's why there's just a little bit of confusion, Transparency, I do live in that area, I'm just concerned about the traffic as well. It sounds like you guys did a really good job, you came back to the drawing board. I really like how they really looked at landscaping. They did a great job at addressing a lot of the concerns from the meetings that they've had. I looked at some of the TRC notes. I still don't feel like traffic is there, and I just don't know how to maybe put a pause button on this for a second, because I think the school systems need to know how it can impact them. I worry about the public safety of the kids that are walking, the multiple parents that are, dropping off kids. I know that's not necessarily the concern of the commission on a typical basis, but is a public health and safety concern for me.
I've got another question.
Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
So this would be for Deanne Lockenbach?
Yes, sir.
So the pictures that you guys were holding up for the cameras,
Yeah,
was that because of an accident on I-65, a traffic Because I've been on Wurstville Road every
No,
single
I
day.
live on the corner of Clark and Franklin,
Okay.
so I am the worst hit of this unfinished corridor. That is from my window, that is normal traffic that I deal with all the time, and it's driving me crazy. So if you're gonna add 10 to 20,000 cars onto that clip from 74.
That's all I'm at, Ryan. I wanted to know that particular picture. Is that because I've been on Wurstville Road.
No, I'm trying to show.
Let me finish.
Okay.
I go on Wurstville Road every day and I have for 15 years, even today.
We've been out there for 15.
I've never, and I go to Taylor's Farm Market by Sweet, I've never seen cars
Do
on
you know
that
where
road.
Franklin Road is?
I've never seen any of that.
Okay, Wurstville Road goes all the way out to Franklin Road. That's, and then you turn right, that's my house.
I know.
So all this traffic is coming from I-74, and I know you guys don't know this. This is an unfinished corridor from I-74.
I do know that, yes.
Then this is everyday traffic, sir, and
I
the
just
car
asked a
upside
simple-
down,
That's not an everyday traffic.
that is sir, that is every day. I can take a picture every single day, and I've sent many emails every single day. We can't even get out of our driveways. My dad died 2 years ago, so those pictures are from a year and a half. That's it. I've been there a year and a half.
I don't have any further questions.
I have a question for Gabe.
Am I allowed to ask why you're violating your laws? Greenwood ordinance laws?
You had your chance, man.
Okay.
Dave, I have a question about the comprehensive plan. This Wurstville Road 65 intersection, there's this regional destination. I don't know, CON,
Commercial, yeah.
Are there any other nodes like that in Greenwood, or is this the only one?
So, as far as a specific focus area that got to this level of detail, this is the node that we had selected as kind of a hub for a lot of these big users that would be destinations for the city of Greenwood. We were playing off of I-65 and the sports park. However, there is another area of regional destination commercial. Although this area did not come with a focus plan, it was just the general base zoning. And this is up by County Line Road and 65, where there's a Casey's up there right now, but most of that is vacant as well. And then there is another area near Main Street. That area is where the current road ranger is, but some of the parcels around there are still vacant. And due to their proximity to interstate, that is oftentimes a good place for regional destination commercial. Regional destination commercial is not something you necessarily want on local roads if you're trying to draw people from outside of Greenwood.
Thank you.
And the other commissioners.
Can I ask a couple more questions about the destination commercial? Gary? I heard a couple of demonstrators talk about the long stay versus the short stay, like, destination. And then I heard a demonstrator talk about the number of parking spaces and how that may be antithetical to what is in our comprehensive plan. Can you just address that?
Yes, so the regional destination commercial classification is to accommodate a range of potential entertainment, recreation, hospitality, and retail activities within close proximity to I-65, which Brian mentioned. This classification has the potential to draw high levels of traffic at peak times and must include good access to major thoroughfares, such as being located right off of I-65. Wurstville is also a major arterial road, which is designed to carry traffic. The defining characteristic of these uses is that customers will plan a special trip there, which I feel many people do plan special trips to Buc-ee's, or maybe when they're driving through Greenwood, they may choose to stop there due to over another gas station, say due to the food that they offer, or maybe the clean bathrooms that they are known for. So it could be a place where people plan a special trip and their value the overall experience as opposed to shopping for it. It's going to be a special experience. Generally, customers are willing to travel longer distances to destination commercial centers, so not just local traffic. This would be traffic that's maybe coming in for a convention. We're known for conventions in this area. We're also kind of called the crossroads of America. And they will spend longer time periods of time there. Supporting retail and resident restaurant businesses are appropriate in this classification, of which Buc-ee's includes both retail and a food component.
Was that from the comprehensive plan or from their proposal?
This is from the comprehensive plan.
Okay, so, but it
This is-
just mentions Buc-ee's like type.
It also says it's not supposed to be a burden.
Yes, it sounds like it might be from Buc-ee's plan, but no, this is from our comprehensive plan.
Okay, perfect.
Their proposal just matches
Just
it
matches it.
so closely that you would think it was coming from
So
them.
did we ever mention in a comprehensive plan the length of stays for commercial destination or the amount of parking, that
Yeah.
burdensome type language? Is
Yeah, we say that they will spend longer periods of time there. In the description of regional destination commercials, there are areas that do not match the comprehensive plan completely. And that would be the large parking areas. Really, the scale of a Buc-ee's is much larger than I think a lot of people anticipated during the comprehensive plan. This is a unique proposal as far as like a gas station or a retail or a destination commercial. It is not one that I think people were specifically targeting when this was written, but this is a vision, it is a guide, it is not an exact prescription. You're never gonna have something that checks every single box that you have. This is a guiding document and it is up to you guys, it's the advisory plan commission and the common council to determine if what's being proposed matches the character and the theme of the comprehensive plan.
I have a question about the lighting. You guys did a great job putting together these conditions as recommendations. Recommendation number 4 said lighting shall be 90 degrees or a full cutoff to reduce light pollution. Can you explain a little bit of that specifically for me? I don't quite understand.
Sure.
I've read a lot of the candle light and the dim light and the, what is all?
Yeah, so we do have rules on how much candlelight can spill off of a property, especially when you're abutting a residential use. However, what we're talking about when we say 90-degree cutoff or full cutoff, this is gonna be the orientation of the light pointed down. And oftentimes there'll be a cover or a shield that will direct the light. Some places that are maybe developed before our current standards will have light that shines right up into the air and out to all sides. Since then, Greenwood has adopted ordinances that look at commercial lighting, where we want the shields pointed down so that it is directed onto the site, onto the parking lot, onto the specific user. Full cutoff is typically considered the best in like a dark skies community. It's not just 90, it is straight down. It's dome, almost, and the 90-degree cutoff is aiming straight down.
Did you guys address any concerns with DNR, the city, when you guys had conversations with that, Vermont, where you talked about the Eagles and?
So I brought it up with the developer. I don't know if they have anything that they specifically want to mention. We are adding a number of trees. Number of these trees are going around the pond, which I'm assuming is what the Eagles are typically fishing out of and using. This is, I think any level of construction or development may have effect on, or will have effect on the natural area. Farming has an effect on the natural environment as well. So, this is an area we've designated as regional destination commercial. We do have areas in our comprehensive plan where we designate them as more park area. I know north of there, the soil is very soft. We've designated that as a trailhead in the park. But when I look at the comprehensive plan, although we want to be mindful of this, I do see that we are requesting regional destination commercial here. But I don't know if the developer has any comments on the Eagles. Not sure. I did bring it up though.
Maybe one other question.
Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
If that's okay.
Yeah, no.
So the transparency piece, you know, it came up, how do we make sure that we're transparent with the projects that get to this board? And how does it move through the process? I was just wondering, Gabe, for everybody's benefit, can you go through how you do that?
Yeah.
Because there is transparency, I just wanted to be able to.
No, I'd be happy to. So I think people from the public were asking me about a Buc-ee's before I personally had known anything about a Buc-ee's. So word gets out to people. I know that the petitioner said in January they submitted the traffic study. I know around that time I was been on some emails with the traffic study. There was no specific user. There was no names being used for the traffic study. There was a traffic study for basically a large travel center user. But at that time, there'd been no application filed. So if someone's doing a public record request and I don't have an application, I don't have a name that's linking it to it, I can maybe make assumptions, but it's not my job to connect those dots and make assumptions. I will say, I think that there was a lot of the public input that was taken into consideration. We ran this as a planned unit development. I made a zoning determination that this specific use did not fit within a category. So this was not something that was straight zoned or allowed in without a public hearing. So we do have a public hearing. I responded to numerous public record requests. Some of the people who received the public record request were here today. That included all of the application materials that were sent to us. We included email correspondence. We included traffic studies. We included site plans. I answered individual emails and phone calls that came to me about the Buc-ee's project. People came into our front desk, our front counter, spoke to me at the front desk about the Buc-ee's project. People started their own grassroots petitions and it got the word out. In addition to that, we had newspaper notices go out. We had public notice signs posted on the frontages of the proposed site. And we did a mailing to the properties within 300 feet, 2 properties or 300 feet of the proposed petition, which I will say significantly skews the petition often at the public meetings to people that may oppose it. Typically, people that are in support of it don't always come out to these meetings because it's indifferent to them. They also might not live near it. They might live outside of it. They're not noticed. The only people that are in close proximity are mailed. But generally what I've seen from the public is a lot of support. Typically the public hearings is where you get people that feel very strongly and it's typically a negative emotion that is producing that.
Thanks.
Last call for any of the commissioners.
I have a few more questions, but you
Go ahead.
can tell me to stop. I have a couple questions about the pedestrian safety stuff. Because again, I live very close to the area. I've been a Whiteland mom for 19 years. So I just want to know, we did a really good job on working with the developer on sidewalks, trails, trailhead, bike plaza. I loved all that. But if it's its own little island in a sense, and then we have the I-65, the exchange of the exit, and then we have South Lake and we have all the housing options. How did you see that sidewalks and trails and like connections integrated into Greenwood's long-term trail network? I'm just curious how you see that actually being used.
So for people who are visiting Buc-ee's on a road trip, they need to stretch their legs or walk their dog, or maybe they brought the bikes on the back of their camper or Suburban. They have a bike path that they've built that's separate from any road around the lake for recreational use, exercise, stretching your legs. I would assume that people visiting the Buc-ee's would primarily use the trail that they're putting around the water feature. Going to be lined with trees, and I think it'll be a very nice addition. We do also have 10-foot multi-use trails that are separated from the road that are being installed onto Worsville. They're actually existing on Worsville right now, you can see them, but any area that those would need repair, which it looks like the trail kind of peters off mid-site, so they'll be building the rest of that trail out That trail does cross the Forestville Exchange. It kind of cuts through the center. In the very middle of it, there are walls on either side for pedestrians. I'll admit, anytime you have pedestrians crossing the interstate, there is traffic there, there's volumes of traffic there. With the protection from the walls, that does help. And that was also a reason why we considered or requested the roundabout. Roundabouts are safer for people to cross than a signalized intersection. If you're like me and you're waiting for a light, sometimes you might try to run across a little early. Roundabouts are much safer for pedestrians. They provide a refuge for people as they're crossing, and they're only looking at traffic coming from one direction. So that's part of the reason why the roundabout was one of our selections. They're also safer for vehicle accidents as well. Typically, you have more minor accidents. It might be a fender bender. It's not someone being sideswiped. So those were some of the reasons why NDOT and Greenwood requested the roundabout, which is really going above and beyond almost what any developer would install for development.
I just wanted to let you guys know because, I mean, I know you guys may all utilize Wordsville in various ways, various times, because I've been using Wordsville for many, many years also. The roundabout's great, right? It's safe, it's wonderful, it's good for the kids, better for them to walk than a four-way intersection. However, that roundabout can get backed up to stop 18 all the way up to Main Street. And if you guys don't know that, you probably don't travel that road enough. My worry is that that could happen in that area, and I hope you guys address it in that 600-page document. Hopefully that's something that's addressed or will be addressed if this becomes paused. But you also started mentioning a little bit about the future of it. Like you said, that's why we put in the round, or we're hoping to put in the roundabout for the future.
Yeah.
So what the future, what's that gonna look like and how's it gonna impact it once Buc-ee's is in? Who's gonna take care of it 20 years from now? Like, you know, the same questions we would normally ask if there wasn't 500 people here tonight. We always ask.
Well, it'd be public right of way. We would want to fully control and maintain the roundabout. I would not want to entrust that with the private development that might go under, might not have the protections of the city in mind. In CDS, in our streets department, we are serving the people of Greenwood. We would want that to be within Greenwood's public right of way. They may construct it as part of their project, which we will review and ensure that it is done in a safe manner. But it would be public right of way that the city of Greenwood would take over.
I think not just the roundabout, but all the other spaces, right? Because it's only, what, so many acres of the 84 that it's gonna be developed with.
Well, the rest of the acreage, they may own that acreage, they may sell that acreage off to future commercial users. The 80 acres that that is coming with the planned unit development, that is all designated as regional commercial. So there is a small portion of that little small bubble that kind of talks about having a center or a hub. And then on the east side of Collins, it transitions into more residential. Again, this is a vision and guide. We are reacting to developments and proposals that are coming before us. We did not go out and find Buc-ee's. This was a proposal that looked at our future land use map, thought that this was a good area for their development, and proposed this to the city of Greenwood. And I happen to agree that this is an appropriate use in the regional commercial zone.
Gabriel, it might be helpful to the people who are here if you explain the concept of planned unit development, which is you are writing your own zoning ordinance and not necessarily following the zoning code that you or cited.
So planned unit development is something that's allowed by the Indiana state law. For basically what I'd say is like a unique project that doesn't neatly fit into a defined zoning district. In talking with them, we did not think this would be appropriate to zone as industrial large, which is where we currently allow travel centers. We did not feel that this was really an industrial large travel center. They have such a large retail component. Our zoning ordinance cannot predict every type of use and every type of user that comes, that exists in the world. I mean, there are uses that come up all the time that no one could have ever fathomed. I'm sure golf Top Golf probably made people scratch their heads when they saw the very first one. Is that a golf course? Is it a restaurant? Is it a commercial? Is it, no? So you have a user that doesn't fit neatly into our zoning ordinance. Staff did not feel comfortable with it being zoned industrial. If the project were to fall through, it would be then zoned as industrial. We've heard loud and clear from people throughout the whole comprehensive plan that we don't want industrial here. So we met with Bucky's, we suggested a planned unit development. A planned unit development can capture something that doesn't neatly fit into our zoning. And it allows us the opportunity to have this public input and to work with the developer to make sure we know the product that we're getting. So that is why the underlying zoning is commercial large. Even though commercial, the typical travel center would have been under industrial. Typical travel center doesn't have the retail that they have, it doesn't have the restaurant and hospitality. It's typically more of a.
But it says PUDs are not to be utilized.
You can respond, I'm sorry, you can respond, because he is speaking.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it
they're-
says PUDs are not to be utilized to circumvent the standards of this ordinance. This is your own laws.
Yes, correct. So when we get a proposal that doesn't fit neatly into our ordinance, this is a user, we're not gonna have it exclusionary zoning where it can't go anywhere. Exclusionary zoning is illegal. We have a process that is mandated by state, to have a planned unit development, and we work with unique users that don't really fit neatly into one of the
How is
zones.
this a unique user? It's 120 gas pumps.
That's all.
Are we allowed to ask him questions on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. So.
Anyone, I don't want to cut anyone off.
I had one question. Remember his name with the traffic study? Radcliffe? Yes. So you're saying that once school starts, you'll be doing another traffic study every 15-minute increments?
Correct, we're running it for entirely.
So what happens at that point if you realize, yeah, this does not work? What's your plan with the roadways at that point?
Our plan is to look at what the solution would be to mitigate the impacts that are found within those additional data points.
What mitigation options have you had to utilize in the past, whenever you did?
Lane additions, modifications to the intersections. I mean, we've done all kinds of things as it relates to the company and when we come into these types of situations.
So you are gonna inspect peak hours with the school system.
Correct.
I would also say the school starts at the end of July. That's really peak, right? That first week and a half of school.
Well, you can't plan for Christmas.
Yeah.
So, we've worked with Dr. Tim over here and his group to come up with a solution, and we're taking his suggested time period, and that's what we're utilizing to run these additional counts above and beyond what the jurisdiction requires.
So then I guess that's my question, Dr. Edsel, the time period he's saying.
Come any week. It'll get calmed down after the first week.
Yeah.
That's just parents getting things filled out. It is still busy every single week. So when you said you want to come August 23rd, we will be our guest.
Thank you, sir.
I don't even have to ask you to answer.
I just think turning left into the middle school is still, it's backing up past the
Sure,
roundabout. So
sure.
that's what I worry about the most. And I know you can't quite see it, but it's just impossible. It already takes, it's just, I don't know.
My concern was, is Dr. Edsel and his team included, and obviously they are.
Question, if you approve the petition as it is presented today, they've made, or you've required, putting improvements to the roads, and if more improvements come to the roads, what happens?
So actually, you're bringing me to the next point that I was gonna bring. So tonight is not the final action of this. That lies with the Common Council. We offer them a recommendation of favorable, neutral, or unfavorable. So despite whichever of those the commission decides tonight, I want everyone to know that that's not the end of it. If it's unfavorable, that doesn't stop it. We are merely telling the Common Council of Greenwood, we have heard this from the public. This is our recommendation based on it. The Common Council would then hear it because this is a zoning ordinance. They are that final action. So I do want everyone to know that no matter what direction we go, that's not the final end and answer.
And we can submit an approval and auto approval with conditions, correct?
With
Commitments.
yes. You can recommend it.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I did want to ask that public health question about whether we addressed the idling of the cars, the gas, and I know that's always a concern, but it's a concern. Did you guys look into all that?
I'll let the petitioner speak on anything specifically as far as the interstate or the intersection improvements, which Greenwood has recommended and asked for, as well as KDOT. A roundabout does help with wear and tear to the cars, idling the vehicles, just the general maintenance and long-term use of the car, the better for the environment for that roundabout. If the petitioner has anything to add.
I would just like to know if you guys have any studies related to public health impact associated with people living near a Buc-ee's. You should have enough data by now.
We don't have any negative data that's any different than when it existed before we got there. We have travel centers where we directly abut single family homes. We have travel centers that are in the middle of the sticks. We have travel centers in the middle of towns. So we have them all over. We have no data to show that it's any different. We're right on an interstate. There's all those emissions, all that's still going on there, irrespective of us being there.
What about the drainage pond? Are you guys gonna line it?
Doesn't have to answer.
I think though that we did you cover drainage and stormwater? You did a pretty good job in the TRC about that, right?
Yeah, we looked at that in depth, and we've been working with the Johnson County Surveyor. They're
They have
going
to
to
drain
meet
and monitor.
our drainage ordinances, and they have a very large pond there.
Yeah, that's their
Utilizing as
stormwater
well.
runoff. Are they gonna drain and line it? Cause I called Indiana Department of Environmental Management to put a case, I have 2 open cases on a state level with this.
They're going to follow our stormwater technical.
But that PUD puts it on the state and not your guys' laws.
But
They're rewriting
I'm
it.
sure the state has laws as well, especially when it's something that's being discharged that is crossing.
That's
an
why I
interstate.
called, because I felt like this was about money and not public health and safety, so that's why I called both of them open state cases, because
As far as our city goes, engineering was satisfied, stormwater had no comments, sanitation said they were good. So as far as the city goes, they've
the city,
approved.
not the state, which has to give them permits
So I
for
think-
stored water and a permit from Indiana Department of Transportation.
We'll make sure that they get any necessary permits.
So
from
does not be
any
continued
necessary
until those
jur-
state cases are closed?
From any necessary jurisdiction. I'm gonna remind people, this isn't a question and answer time.
Sorry.
This is for the plan commission. They're going to get any permit that is required. We don't have the ability to exclude them from the Johnson County Surveyor, or if they need a permit from NDOT. They will need to have all those permits in order and in line before we can issue any permit for them to start moving dirt on the site. So there is no concern from myself. We are going to ensure that any permit that is needed to be received is received.
With that, with any zone map change, I will ask our attorney to read the statutory criteria.
I will, and I will remind you that this is not just a zone map change, it is a text amendment because they are writing the development requirements of the zoning for their planned unit development, the concept plan, master plan. You are to pay reasonable regard to the comprehensive plan, the current conditions and the character of current structures and the uses in each district, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood, and responsible development and growth.
With that, I would entertain a motion on the docket.
I think they did a good job associating with the comprehensive plan. I think they did a good job with the landscaping and the buffering. They did a decent job with traffic and transportation, but they didn't include the school system that's gonna be impacted the most. But I do have the utmost confidence that he's gonna engage with the school system, regardless of what the mitigation opportunities are. I do still have concerns about the public health thing, but we're never gonna be able to decide exactly what goes into that corridor, into that commercial zone. I do like the tax implications, everything that's gonna happen to the city as a result. I am mostly concerned about the public health side. So I just wanted to let you guys know where I stand, if I have any questions.
On the commitment side for the traffic study, when would it be in front of the council regardless of?
The council has up to 90 days to place it on an agenda. Now typically they place it on the next meeting agenda, but it does not have to be. So we would have to find out from the common council what meeting they're going to place this on the
Because they would
agenda.
need the information that we've heard,
And
for that.
they could-
I would want it if I.
They could push it out, or if they get revised information, the common council, they can make a commitment to the common council. That is also allowed after it has come out of this body.
So I like their conditions, I would just add the one condition that the developer continue to work closely with the school system to mitigate any issues related to traffic and congestion.
If they're going to do another study to include CPCSC, then, and that's, let's say, August, they council at 90 days.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see how that's.
If they, I'm just trying to figure out numbers here, roughly how long after he does the study, how long does it take to get a report for the council to see? Roughly, generally, is that?
Well, the council, we can send it to the council as well. Are you saying that the approval won't be?
I'm just saying if we
until a
take
traffic study
any
is
kind of-
completed? Typically, if a traffic study shows recommended solutions, we would enforce that one of those options or solutions is used to mitigate the traffic if it's showing that they are adversely impacted to something. Typically, a traffic study doesn't go to council for approval. None of them, I don't think, are formally trained in engineering. It would typically go to the technical review committee as well as the state. So if traffic was submitted, it would go to NDOT and to the CDS department, which houses engineering and planning. We look at it with their traffic engineer and see what that traffic study says and what it recommends doing.
I guess my concern
I think
is,
they're committing to implementing a traffic study with that
Right.
additional data and making the recommended changes if there are recommended changes.
And that would be through tech review, of course, but then that information would be available for the council from you.
Yeah, I can specifically give it to the council, but all of this information is available to the council.
it's
and
gonna
the
come to the
public.
council.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
know.
Yeah, I can send it to them as well, when we get it, that's something I can arrange for.
Are you suggesting that perhaps, I think, Ms. Demmer, that you revise that commitment on the traffic study?
Instead of traffic study.
The traffic impact study with NDOT Greenwood required, and petitioner will continue to work with the school system and the Clark Pleasant Community School System to revise, amend, and mitigate any traffic concerns raised by an additional study with the city of Greenwood technical staff having final approval of any
It's a lot better than
traffic
how I was gonna
options.
say it, but yeah.
I gotta remember, we gotta remember all.
I wrote down a
That's
version of it, but.
that'll be, that's what
But
council
can I see Ms. Crawford's document? There was a concern that I wanted to write down possibly as a condition.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one then,
It's a
sorry.
little bit small.
Yes.
Thank you.
But that might help. I just got the first one.
If it matters, I do have a police officer from Clark Pleasant Schools that put up a traffic camera for me by Clark to prove, but.
This is not a time for question and answer. The public hearing
sorry.
has ended.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's what, okay. you know how a couple of the remonstrators had brought up that a lot of traffic was coming in from like 74, not just 65?
That was on that question.
So are they, can we add that as a condition that they actually investigate that part? Because he said they did their typical steps for traffic study as approved by NDOT.
It was not accounted as a
I,
highway corridor.
we just have to talk. So what?
I think that would be the extended traffic study. that they're gonna
Okay,
do.
I guess, but I think that's important.
So, Sean, can that be? Okay. So yes, I mean,
Don't you agree, a traffic study, not just including the access?
I would have thought it, yeah, I mean, I would have thought that the, we'll say from the east, just to be simple, was included. Apparently it wasn't, or not in great detail.
It probably was.
Are there any other, is there any other discussion amongst the commissioners?
Do you guys have any concerns about property value changes or anything like that in that area? No. Commissioners?
No. Not significant.
I will take a motion on the question.
Mr. President, I move that the petition of CSMS Management LLC for rezoning of approximately 80.15 acres on the southeast corner of Interstate 65 and Burstville Road within the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, from RL Residential Large Lot Zone Use to Planned Unit Development District Use Hurricane Creek Park PUD as set forth therein, receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented with the following commitments, and that would be with the traffic study that we talked about. With,
As worded by-
with the school-wide.
Do you want verbiage?
Yeah,
How
if
does
you
that-
could,
can you do that, Sean?
provide verbiage.
And staying with the 4 recommended commitments in the staff report, amending number 2 regarding the traffic study. Traffic impact study with NDOT agreement required with the petitioner to work closely with the Clark Pleasant Community School Corporation to perform additional traffic study and to amend the traffic study to mitigate any traffic impact concerns with the city staff having final approval of any changes and options.
Thank you for stating that commitment. That is a commitment that I want to include in my motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Walker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williams. Any last comments, thoughts, questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Eight.
That's cool.
Motion carries. Okay, we're gonna take a quick 5 minutes.
Yeah, so the board of him and John Cross Road.
Well, right. Chief's good.
Yeah.
There he is. All right, there's Mr. Wolf. Chief got it for you, so.
Where Mr. Price is, so I know where to get it when he's done.
I told him he had to go out and park.
Jackson.
No, he's outside in the lobby.
In the lobby, okay, so Stephen knows, just tell him to come back in when he's done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're done with this one.
Back from recess. Any old business from the floor? Saying none. New business docket PC 2026-040 Justice Estates Zone Map Change. This is also a public hearing. It'll be 15 minutes for petitioner, those in favor, 15 minutes again for anyone against. Petitioner is Joe Heck on behalf of Michael Justice. For the record, Mr. Price is a member of the applicant and is recusing himself from this hearing. If you'll just be sworn in, Mr. Heck.
You swear under the penalties for perjury, the testimonies that you're about to give is true and to the best of your knowledge.
And if there is anyone else who intends to speak to this petition, would you also?
That my
take
apologies.
note?
Yeah, please stand to be sworn in.
It's just 3 of us. Okay. Do you swear under the penalties for perjury, the testimony you're about to give is true and to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, we can just get your name and address for the record.
Joseph Heck, Price Plus, 1257 Airport Parkway, Suite A, Greenwood, 46143. So, can you pull the slide? So, we're here for the Justice Estate minor plat. It's a 3-lot subdivision that we're going to be doing at 1000 West Stone Crossing Road. We met with the city, and to split this parcel up, the recommendation was to rezone this from AG to RL for these larger lots. This next, I can move here. Thank you. Like I said, the outside, that's the wrong one. There we go. Site's 1000 West Stones Crossing Road is east of Honey Creek Road. So here's the kind of the oversnap of it. So currently there's just one house at the south part of this lot, and the north part is all empty. Pasture grass, they mow it, bale it. So we have a potential buyer for lot 2, wants to build a larger home behind the what will be lot 1. So the lot 2 will be a 2-acre parcel, and then lot 1 and 3 will remain with the owner of the current parcel. So he has currently no plan to sell the 3rd lot. We're just when we plat this, we went ahead and split the 3rd lot off. So he has some flexibility in the future if he wants to sell that lot. If not, just will maintain lots, owning lots 1 and 3, and sell lot 2. So we're simply just asking for a rezone. Yeah, all right.
It won't be landlocked lots, right? And you understand we can't have landlocks or.
We have discussed a shared access for the 3 lots. They have been notified that the current proposal may require a waiver with the Advisory Plan Commission. The staff's preference not to add multiple cuts onto this primary arterial road. We want to limit the number of cuts. So we are generally supportive of shared access, but that will have to work through the Plan Commission if this gets approved and moves forward.
Can it cover that? The parcel must be platted piece, or does that not cover that?
They've also already filed their plat petition, but we cannot begin reviewing it until the zoning is affirmed, because that is what sets the lot sizes, the setbacks, et cetera. So they know that it is required. We've asked for it to be platted in our recommended condition or commitment. And they've actually already filed a petition, and they're just doing so at the risk of this not moving forward. And they understood that that was at their own risk that they had submitted. This time I do want to invite Jackson up. He has a letter of remonstration, and I do know we can continue on, then I know there was remonstrators as well.
That was all, Mr. Eckert? Okay. If you, whoever wants to. Two asks. One, if you'll write your name and address back, right?
Yes.
Name and address, and then before you start speaking, just verbally say it. This way, it's easier for us to make sure we get your name right. You'll start with your name and address, and then go ahead. That's fine.
Yes, my name is Janice Seelman, and I live, my husband and I, Daryl, live at 708 West Stones Crossing. I come prepared tonight with a letter, and I had sent this letter via email to Mark Meyer's office, the mayor, and I did hear from Lisa and his office that she had forwarded this to you, the planning commission. I know no better way to express our concerns. And the way I have laid them out here, I'm not prepared to show you overhead or any videos or anything that would enhance, but I do appreciate what you had to put up there because it shows the plots. I asked Mr. Meyer, and again, I'll ask of you to accept our letter of concern for the proposed rezoning of the property on West Stones Crossing Road. The property at 1100 West Stones Crossing is the property we're speaking about. It's proposed to be rezoned from agricultural to residential and divided into the 3 lots that this gentleman spoke of. The property is adjacent to our property, 1108. The proposed building of houses on these lots raises valid concerns for several reasons. One being the potential runoff of rainwaters onto our property. Our property now sees substantial flooding each time we have a hard rainfall. Water flows from east to west from the Honey Creek area behind our property and joins the floodwaters that flow behind all 4 residences. One being Mike Justice's at 1100, and then ours at 1108, and Rick Campbell's at 1122, and Susan Schaub's at 1150, as the water runs down to the creek at Honey Creek Road. Secondly, we received a letter recently from the county raising the taxes for the maintenance of the drainage tiles that are now in place for the draining of this water. We have lived at 1108 for 16 years and have not seen or been made aware of any maintenance done for these tiles. So thus there is no improvement in the current flooding and drainage issues. I do have some snapshots. We've taken pictures as far back as 2011. We moved into our property in 2009. And the first set of pictures my husband has were just photos. If you care to see them, you can see the amount of water. And so from 2011 through as late as May of this year, I have other photos of the water, the drainage, and the flooding that happens. The proposed building would not only add more rainwater and runoff flooding to the situation, the other, lastly, more building places and additional septic tanks would contribute to the current water table in the neighborhood and threatens the viability and quality of everyone's current well water. The respective houses above, these 4 houses, and those on the other side of the street as well, have currently been paying full city property taxes and not provided city or water sewage lines. Any addition of added housing to the proposed property will only jeopardize the water quality and value of existing properties. No rezoning or building should be done until the city water and sewage lines are in place along the existing and the proposed properties. No more rezoning or building should be done until current flooding situation is evaluated and a city plan in place for the future. It's just not there, and that is where we live. We appreciate your review and comments on this proposal. And another thing I would like to add is that this area also has seen a change in the landscape since the new double road went through on Stones Crossing. Okay, some of that's good and some of that's not so good, but it's zoned residential, and I think we want to keep that neighborhood the way it is. So if we start taking the lots, dividing them up, and building again, we add to this situation without proper water and sewage provided for that neighborhood. And that neighborhood's gonna look like every other subdivision. And I think that, you know, that's our right. As long as we're paying city taxes, we should have water and sewage in place. And I would think that the city would want that in place if, you know, they choose to do their, what do you call your plan?
Comprehensive.
The comprehensive, because they think the comprehensive plan provides for more neighborhoods and more housing in that area. I did have, because Mr. Campbell could not be here this evening, Rick Campbell, he wanted us to also share that some of the things that he would like brought up is that this sets a precedent for everybody else doing this in the neighborhood. On the other side of Mr. Justice is some area land again, and we've not, this isn't in the proposal, it's just for your information. Areas that it's rumored to be sold, and again, there's room over there for upwards of 5 and more houses. Again, that's more septic tanks. And if you would allow me, I did look at what would happen if a number of septic tanks in one area could affect quality and safety of the water, and it does. From the Environmental Protection Agency says yes, the number of septic tanks in an area can significantly affect the quality and safety of well water. Increased septic systems can lead to higher risk of contamination, particularly if they are not properly maintained or located too close to the wells. So the impact of said number of septic tanks, even though they're not there, we set a precedent that it can happen because those are viable places to build, but not really when it affects our well water. And right now, our well situated at the corner of Mike's, you don't have the picture, but our well is situated where the flood water stands on our well, close to our well, before it moves on down to Honey Creek. So any addition of more rain flow watershed onto that area just increases that opportunity. Contamination risk, groundwater pollution, health hazards, you know, those are the reasons we really like Planning Commission to look closer at this area before any rezoning is done, before any building is done. We live there, and I understand you know, that you want the city to grow, but I think the city needs to really think about growing properly and providing those tax-paying people, like my husband, myself, Rick, Susan, people on the other side of the road as well, are not provided city water and sewage. And you know, I want to tell you this too. I mean, this is a personal thing. Mr. Justice is a wonderful man. He's a wonderful neighbor, and I understand that, you know, this is something he chooses to do. I'm not gonna like him any less. He's been a good neighbor, he'll always be a good neighbor. This is not a good decision, I do not believe, and I just ask you to consider that. Susan? I'm right here. This is my neighbor Susan.
Hi, my name is Susan Shaw, 1150 West Stones Crossing. So I'm 3 doors down from the proposed area. A couple things I just want to point out. She said a lot of what I'm already going to say. So I'm afraid that allowing these, it's almost as if you're stacking houses now, because Mike lives in the front and then you're going to stack 2 more lots, even though one of them isn't proposed or being built on. I'm afraid that sets a precedent to other 10-acre lots getting stacked houses back. I don't think that's a really good decision to make, to stack those houses. We all have pretty much between 3 and 5 acres. I live on 3.5 acres, and I purchased the farmland to my west, the 10-acre L-shaped farm around me, because I wanted the green space. I didn't want houses or a gas station or whatever. It became for sale after I moved in, so I bought that. Farms it, and so we keep it maintained. We are concerned about the runoff. It starts at Mike's house and it goes all the way across my cornfield to Honey Creek, and we get standing water all the time, anytime we get some heavy rain, so we are concerned about that. The property that they want to build the stacked house on, I'm concerned about, because it doesn't have direct access to Stones Crossing for a driveway. They're not purchasing any land to make a driveway. That my understanding is that they're purchasing land behind them. So there is a driveway to Mike's barn that I would assume they're going to utilize as a shared event. I'm concerned about that, because is that going to create a permanent easement? And if that's the case, then Mike's barn is on the easement. So they don't have any direct access to Stones Crossing like the rest of us. Our driveways all come out on Stones Crossing. So we're a bit concerned about that. We're worried about the additional septics. That's a lot of septic. We're unfortunately in an area where everybody around us has city water and sewer. We don't, which is your decision. That's fine. Would be nice if we did have it, but the septic and our well situation is a major concern for all that water runoff. Thank you very much for your time and listening.
Thank you. You have 5 minutes for any rebuttal, Mr. Mayor.
So the drainage concern, I know it's probably a valid concern, and you pay money into legal drain. There's a legal drain that runs from the east to the west, and I think concerning if there is drainage problems and you're getting assessed for legal drain, the new assessments that I've been to a few of those drainage board meetings, and it'd be best to reach out to Greg Cantwell Sewers from it. If there's tiles or drainage work that are failing, that's the avenue to get those drainage concerns corrected, not holding up development of just a simple residential lot. So
But it could be done before.
Downstream drainage fixes wouldn't be something that an upstream contributor usually fix if it's in a legal drain. That's something that the surveyor's department that's why they're behind on assessments. So that's why you're getting some assessments. It's because they're trying to accumulate funds to fix the from my septic system question that you had. So this will get permitted through the Johnson County Health Department, and they'll have to do soil borings and get those all approved through the health department. So we have to verify that soil in that area is sufficient for a new septic system. And they have to provide required separations from known wells. So they're gonna be at least 100 feet away from any known wells. That's why they require lots on septics and wells to be on 2-acre or larger lots. And that's to keep homes from being too close to each other. Septics can't be on top of each other. So that is a health department and state requirement of separation. So with these stacked lots, I know that it is a concern, but there is a desire in Greenwood for larger lots, not just in residential subdivisions or smaller lots. People want a little bit more lot. They want a little bit bigger house. So that's why we are approaching to separate a 2 acre lot so you can build a house on a lot nicer lot. So people kind of want that. I know you guys already have your larger lots and bigger houses. So this is kind of just an expansion on that. They're not going to devalue any houses in the area by splitting off the lot behind an existing driveway for this lot. There's going to be a shared drive since there's only going to be 3 lots. There's already one footnote stretch crossing. That drive is going to be, it's already existing driveway back to a stone drive. So we met, the fire department says we have to have a hard surface back that can support a fire truck. So they're already going to put a widened concrete drive back to give access back to that second lot. And then when the third lot is, if it ever gets sold and built, they would just continue to their house. So that was my responses to
Thank you. Do either of you want to?
I have one question. If the driveway that you're gonna hard surface, is that the one that goes to the barn?
Yeah, it goes back to the barn and then they'll go back.
They'll go around the
They'll go
barn?
around the barn.
So that would be a shared driveway on Mike's property, but
Yeah.
what if Mike, heaven forbid, something happens to Mike or he elects to sell,
So,
then whoever the new buyer is may not elect to share that driveway.
so it's a platted lot, a platted easement to give permanent access to those back lots. It can't be taken away because you can't have landlocked.
So then would his barn be sitting on the easement?
His barn would be, outside the easement.
I have to interject. If you
Oh,
want
it's
to
all right.
answer that question after,
I'm sorry.
that's fine.
My name is Darrell Singleton. I live with Jan at 1108 West Stones Crossing, Greenwood. I understand a lot about the county tile. It wasn't really intended to drain farmland, but there are several field tiles that dump into that. So there's drainage from anything that's upstream. So as we add houses, roofs and concrete sure shed water faster than what grassland does, which is what Mike's back is. So once you decide what to do with this, you've got 10 acres on the other side that you set a precedent for. And you're gonna have to figure out a road because you've got mailboxes, you've got garbage pickup, you have emergency, and we have septic systems that the county, not knocking them, they won't figure it out. It'll be determined by water samples from our wells. And everything flows down to the valley, which is back of our houses. Basically our wells are. Anything else?
It's just not a public access road that you could turn in into that. We're planning.
Well, with that, I'm going to turn it over to staff so we can hear their comments.
The future land use map and the comprehensive plan designates this area as single family. What we have proposed is 2 additional single family lots under the RL zoning, which is our largest lot size for residential. It would be very minimal impact to drainage for 2 lots to be on the 11 acres that are the 2 additional homes to be on the 11 acres. Along with that, we do review these projects that come through, so we would make sure that they're not discharging over any of our allowable rates, and we work with the stormwater department. Essentially, it's 2 large homes on being added to an 11-acre tract, and it conforms with our future land use plan, and I have no concerns.
All right, with that, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners, anything?
You said it would be minimal impact, but dividing the property isn't gonna make the problem any worse, right? That's what my concern was. It may not make it better, but is it gonna make it worse, their drainage situation?
If there's anything that's not working properly with the tile, and they're developing on a tile or they're planning it, we'll look at that with stormwater and see if there are any changes or fixes that we can make. It's a very minimal amount of hard surface that they're adding on to 11 acres. This is not a 500 lot subdivision. This is 2 large estate homes on 11 acres, much like the other homes in the surrounding area. Paul, anything to add on the stormwater concerns?
Yeah, we'll discuss it during the submittal, but no, I don't see a concern. But again, the tile, as Joe stated, that would be subject to bring up with the Johnson County Surveyor's Office. They already control those field tiles.
You've got the one commitment, that the parcel be platted. That's ordinary or unusual?
That's ordinary. So anytime you're putting up a new residential building, commercial building, it does need to be platted. Part of the reason why it's important to plat this one is the shared drive easement that they discussed. We're gonna wanna see a platted easement that designates that it is a shared access easement, and that will be recorded at Johnson County. In addition to that, we'll probably ask them for a joint maintenance agreement to be recorded as well. That way, if someone sells, it's understood how to pay for and maintain the shared drive.
I guess you had to put that on this one because there's already development. We're used to blank land. So it would be part or platted. Anyways, this is kind of a unique.
It's also unique because they kept on asking if they could get the house up with the building permit right away. So no, you still need to plat it.
Okay.
So we just put that in there for clarity. But this is our standard process. It just happens to be a smaller subdivision. This would fall under a minor plat, which is typically administratively reviewed. And then the determination is sent out to the property owners, opposed to a major subdivision or a major plat where it's over 4 lots and it would come before the plan commission for a primary plat. So you may not see this one unless they ask for some type of a waiver. As long as it follows the minor platting process, we would send out the determination to neighbors. And if they found that something was factually inaccurate or a standard was not being met, they could appeal it. They can't necessarily appeal it if it is just something they don't like. They would actually have to cite what ordinance is not being followed.
With that, I'm gonna ask our council to give us the statutory criteria, as if we haven't heard them a lot tonight.
Yes, we heard these, but each time you are to pay reasonable regard to the comprehensive plan, current conditions, and the character of current structures and uses in each district, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood, and responsible in development and growth in making your recommendation.
And just to confirm, it would be redundant to add commitments related to like maintenance agreement, anything like that at this phase.
Staff will make sure those are there and review it. I mean, that's part of our job with the city of Greenwood to ensure that things are being looked at.
If no one has anything else, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Interim President, I move that the petition for the zone map change to rezone approximately 11.02 acres of land located at 1000 West Stones Crossing Road within the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, from AG Agricultural District to RL Residential Large Lot Zone as set forth therein, receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council before presented with the following commitment, that the
parcel must be platted.
Motion by Ms. Stanball to approve with the one condition, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries unanimously.
They'll get Mr. Price and some.
And just so you're aware, so just like the last item, this is the final action here. The next step is the common council. Next
We
step.
notify them it is.
Common council has 90 days to put it on an agenda. The agendas are posted on our city website. You could ask the common council if they know what date they are going to place it on the agenda. I can't tell the elected officials how to do that. Typically, they do it on the very next meeting, which would be, I believe, the 20th. That's the next Monday. Maybe they will want to put it on a different meeting because the Bucky's one might take a long time and maybe they'll want to space it out. That would really be up to the common council. You could contact Mike Campbell, council president.
Okay, well, we can look it up on the website.
Yep, yeah, they're posted the week before.
Thank you.
All right, next up, docket number PC 2026-037, primary plat for Berean Missionary Baptist Church. This also will be a public hearing. Petitioner will be Mr. Heck. Again, he's been exceptionally patient tonight. Is there anyone else wishing to speak for or against this? If so, please stand and be sworn in by the secretary.
Do you swear under the penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true and to the best of your knowledge?
Yes. Yes. Again, Joseph Hank, Products Plus, 157 Brooklyn Parkway, Indiana. So we're here for the Berean Mission Baptist Church Park, 4.45 acres, at 1191 West County Line Road. Seeking primary plat approval for their lot. So currently the lot is just a meets and bounds lot, and with their planned expansion to their building per city's ordinance, we have to plat this lot. Currently it's actually 2 tracks. We're going to plat it into one large, just be lot 1 of one lot, providing the current 2 tracks in the loop. So this is kind of an overview of the plan. They plan on adding a 9,000 square foot addition, flex space, kind of a use area north of their main campus. Tear down this existing house in this area that are going to be removing. Our parking, drainage along the west property. We're just for primary plat.
All right. If no one else wishes to speak, I'll turn it to staff.
The technical review committee unanimously recommended the favorable recommendation to the plan commission. There's still a few minor technical items that we're working through regarding the sidewalk and the landscaping, and those can be covered with the secondary plat. In general, we support this church expansion and feel that they are meeting our ordinance.
All right. With that, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners.
Pretty straightforward to me.
Nice simple one for once tonight. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the proposed Berean Missionary Baptist Church Park primary plat submitted by Projects Plus on behalf of Berean Baptist Church, Dr. PC 2026-037, because the primary plat complies with the Unified Development Ordinance subdivision standards, and to direct the president and or vice president to sign in the commission's behalf the notice of determination and written findings regarding the approval of the primary plat as prepared by the planning director.
Motion by Mr. Milborn. Second by Mr. Lexi. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 8-0 unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Heck. You've had quite a night. Hey, that talk to staff about that. Any new business from the floor?
We're meeting next, Gabe, we're meeting next, Monday before we go meet. This council's gonna be in here.
You're not meeting, we're not meeting.
No, there's just an announcement that we have the Joe speaker series going on at Common Council. All are invited. We have
Oh,
the
okay.
maximizing the value of land study
Right.
that is being done. It
Okay.
talks about different types of residential developments.
Well, I'll be here.
And so it'll be very informational and then might be a busy meeting.
And that's the announcement. Any other announcements? Seeing none, somebody's gonna want the last motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Walker Beach and Mr. Lexington. We are adjourned.
Right.